I collect small-town cookbooks, old cookbooks, self-published ones mostly, the kinds of books that were pieced together by hand, using old comb-binding machines and mimeograph paper. Often these books were crafted by ladies from civic leagues, community groups, United Methodist congregations, and NASCAR ladies associations. I have an entire shelf full. Sometimes I read them when I have nothing better to do. There's one such cookbook on my shelf from First Baptist, Slocum, Alabama, 1978. I don't get too worked up in Slocum. There's a recipe called Company Potatoes by Cora Casey, and if it doesn't change your life, it will at least change the life of your company. I have one from Pensacola Baptist Church. Pensacola isn't the edge of the world, but you can see it from there. And there's a recipe for lemon icebox pie submitted by Nana Lily Evans, and in our house we lovingly call it Baptist Crack. There's an antique cookbook from a tiny town in Maryland, from a Unitarian church. If you've never been to a Unitarian church, they're notoriously bad singers, mostly because they're always reading a few lines ahead to see if they agree with the lyrics. My favorite recipe in that book is one for Kool-Aid pickles. There's one from Bruton, Alabama's Civic League, my wife's hometown. They have recipes for squirrel, possum, and even skunk. Man has to be pretty hard up to eat skunk. There's one from Fort Lauderdale, Florida Ladies Association for Responsible Feminism from the 1970s. There's a recipe called Bra Burner Casserole. And I have one from a Tennessee Church of God. The opening foreword is written by the pastor of the church. He writes, "Why does a $10 bill look so small at the grocery store, but so big at church?" One of my favorite books is entitled Cooking in Wyoming, the Centennial Women's Suffrage Edition. Wyoming was the first government in the world to grant women the right to vote. And there's a section on housekeeping, one on wood-fire stove cooking from the pioneer days. And my wife once cooked the recipe for venison stew a la Millequire. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give that recipe a 549. And there's one from Lafayette, Louisiana, called Cajun Men Cookbook, put out by the Lafayette Lions Club a lifetime ago. The club eventually evolved into the Beavers Club, a club name which has raised many questions among the Beavers' wives. There is a cookbook assembled by the Mobile Federation of Republican Women in 1966 with the largest chapter dedicated expressly to congealed salads. Another one I own is called Livers, Gizzards, and Other Good Stuff. These recipes will bring tears to your eyes. But my all-time favorite cookbook is the Junior League Cookbook of Destin, Florida. In this book is a recipe my youthful wife once contributed when she was young. I'll never forget that period of her life. She was in her early 20s, and like most 20-year-olds, she was unsure of herself and self-doubting. She tested her recipe several times before submitting. And to this day, she still gets remarks from people who tried this recipe. She usually reads these emails aloud to me, and she always starts by saying, "Would you listen to this?" The remarks are so meaningful to her, I can tell. Once I asked her why this feedback means so much, and she replied, "Because cooking is the best way of saying, I love you." And I can't think of a better closing line for this video.